All right. Well, it's a joke that never was. But
Yeah.
let's talk about fnatic. Let's yay or nay. Jackinho in replace of Flusher. Yay or nay?
Where's my thing?
You're the deciding vote right now, Prof. Just so you're aware. Oh, okay. I'm the I find
You're the positive one here.
Yeah, this is strange. Jesus. Okay. I think this move excites me for a few reasons. Now, I'm probably going to say something, and then someone in chat's going to be like, no, but JW is still going to be AWPing. This guy is meant to be an AWPer, right? We spoke about this on the show before. He's meant to be an AWPer. So
he's not going to be. You've already said.
Let's just listen to what chat has to say. Let me listen to what Striker has to say.
But they've already said that JW will be AWPing though.
Yeah, but let me operate in my little bubble, right? Because this is probably what's going to happen once they realize this is a dumb idea.
Ahead.
Okay, you're bringing in a kid into a team who is a primary AWPer, like that's what he does. Then they're going to bring him in and make the kid rifle and put him completely out of his comfort zone. That's not going to work. So once that fails at the start of the year, then they're going to move to what I'm about to say. Old boy Jackie, we'll call him, because we don't have Jacks anymore. He's going to go, he's going to be an AWPer. He's going to fucking flourish. A bit like what happened with Brokey when he was doing that kind of a role. I think it makes sense if they want to change their style of play as well. I think if you are removing Flusher, who is part of the core, Crims, Flusher, and JW, that natty chem that I talk about when I'm on broadcast with how long they've been together and, you know, like the fact that they don't communicate a lot and they have good synergy in game and understand what each other, that's gone. We can turf that whole narrative now. Golden can start leading this team in a different way. And I think that if he can start leading them in a different way that is a little bit more on meta, then we can see Jackie Boy, primary AWPer. You can have your two rocks, Brolin and Crims. Brolin loves running in and headshotting people. He'll even do some fucking entry work for you. Crims will do the same when no one else is doing it. You see Crims, he gets a little bit angry and he goes, I'll just fucking kill everybody. Those two players, both still in the top 20 of this year. Fantastic. JW now becomes your X Factor. He was the X Factor before, but he was the X Factor who was the AWPer and kind of alone. So now JW can still do his crazy aggro plays. He can still do the crazy aggro plays with an AWP, but then you've got this other boy who can now take that role and fill those slots and still be as instrumental. So I think before you had an overlap a little bit with Golden and Flusher in terms of in-game leaders are meant to be, at least in my mind, the ones who are more flexible, right? You're rotating around, you're filling the gaps. Flusher does that because he's an intuitive player. He understands the game on a very, very high level. So he was naturally doing that. I think it might have been a little bit of overlap. So now they obviously want to stick with Golden as the in-game leader. That's cool. I like that. I think that's good. Then just you don't need to shift the roles of Crims and Brolin. You just kind of shift the roles of this new kid to make sure that he's still doing his comfortable job, get the most out of him. JW can still do his crazy shit, and you can actually play current meta. That's why I think it could be good in the future. But if they do what you're saying, Striker, yeah, tell me why you think it's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see it. I just don't see it as the right replacement, right? I imagine it's not how it went exactly with like, you know, obviously first had to come the Flusher leaving rather than them. I'm pretty sure that they didn't just straight up replace him, you know? I feel like that had to come from him. And so if that comes, then sure. Like, I guess you just have to take whatever talent there is and just work around it, right? But then obviously if you want to, I 100% agree with you. If you want to take in a new talent, you don't want to put him outside of a comfort zone immediately.
But why do you think
never worked? I feel like.
Why do you think he's not AWPing?
Wish I had an answer for that.
Exactly, I don't know.
But like how I understand,
I'm going to tweet about it right now.
How I understood it and what I read from the interview, that it was like on some Swedish site.
Yeah,
it literally said in the beginning, JW will be AWPing. So.
No, I think what that meant is just like, if that doesn't work, you know, if that works out, we're going to keep doing that.
The way I understood it is like, we are fnatic. We just got this kid that has like almost no competitive experience, especially on the top level. So we don't want to throw him into the AWPing role and like going to AWP duels against fucking Simple tomorrow. So we're just going to put him in the rifle role for the beginning, just to like play, get a feel of the team while JW plays his roles. And then after some time, we do the swap. And that's how I understood it, even though they didn't say this. But to me, this made sense. And that's it. That's kind of the plan from my point of view. Even though Jackinho said that he used to be like, he's kind of a flexible player, so he can play either. I think that's kind of bullshit as well, because all of the games that he played recently were with the op. So why, like, if they don't want him to op, then they wouldn't pick him. They pick someone else. There's like a bunch of these like second, like third tier Swedish players, up and comers now that are getting picked up. They'd pick someone that's a rifler if they didn't want a hopper, in my point of view. And I think JW can be a pretty good rifle and like flexible in that, like an art style player. I originally went for Nay.
I saw you change it.
I changed my mind. Did you feel proud? I'm like, I'm SPUNJ. I'm just nailing this so hard. He had to change his mind.
No, I thought that you just misclicked. That's all.
No, I was thinking from the like Flusha point of view, and kind of like sad that they're losing that part of it.
Yeah.
But from the other side, it makes sense to go for that kind of a pick. And JW did have some good form this year, like last year, but overall wasn't like that impressive. So let's give it a try, give like some new talent a shot. And I also don't know if this guy is up to par for what Fnatic need. Like, he doesn't really have tenure anywhere near this level. So
sure,
everything could be good on paper, but then he just maybe isn't. Maybe he is like Draken or something that's kind of okay, but not it, right?
Sure.
We'll see.
Yeah, what I was mainly doing the nave for, it's not entirely Jackinho or like the opping situation itself. It's just what they're losing with Flusha.
True.
We saw what they lost with when he left the first time, and their form really went down the drain. And when he came back, they started coming back up again. Obviously, Golden had a big part in that as well, but I think Flusha was key to that too. So I feel like with him leaving, I'm a little bit concerned about like them losing the X factor, you know, the secondary caller type guy who's always going to have like a really good idea in the situations that really matter, like in big clutches and things like that. He's always been really good at that. Even if last year he didn't have like the greatest form, I think he hasn't really lost that. So that's just the concern that I have with this move in particular.
Let me pose it to you this way, Striker, just out of curiosity. Let's just say that they're like, because we're going to talk about this one in a couple of topics' time, so it doesn't matter if we bleed into it right now.
Sure.
But in the new project that Flusha is meant to be a part of, out of the names on the list, right, we know that Sunny did some in-game leading for a period of time at ENTS. We know that Flusha has always been very vocal and able to contribute in that same fashion. So let's just live in a hypothetical world where you could have kept Flusha or you could have kept Golden, and one of those two is going to be your in-game leader. Which one would you have picked to keep?
Wow.
What was the question? I don't know how to ban someone.
Golden or Flusha for in-game leader.
You could only keep one of them.
Golden or Flusha?
Yeah.
That's a hard one. Long term, probably Golden.
So I think that right there is probably what Fnatic are doing, right? They already got rid of this guy once. They saw how much of a nightmare it was. And they're banking on the fact that this guy actually wants to be an in-game leader. And like, that's what I think, right?
Yeah, I am concerned about that for sure as well. Just because obviously Flusha was kind of like the in-game leader, like wasn't the in-game leader being Cloud9 at first, but then had to be in the in-game leader or whatever. I don't remember exactly the situation. He wasn't there for a very long time, let's be real.
Yeah.
So I would be concerned about that as well. Just, you know, that coming back, you know, him realizing, okay, full-time in-game leader is actually not my thing. I just like, you know, the having a lot of input whenever I have an idea, you know. It's always a very different story between those types of people, somebody who can call consistently all the time and somebody who just has a really good mind for the game, good game sense, and the right ideas at the right time, you know. So that's definitely a concern for that new project.
You're right as well, though. They need they need somebody else to step up to fill Flush's role, and I think you're right. I just don't know who it's going to be.
It's probably JW.
It has to be. Like,
I don't see anybody else. Crims is just not. I don't feel like Crims or Brolin are the type.
No, I think Brolin's obviously still, like, even though he's a fantastic player, still very young. Crims has the experience, but he kind of he'll probably chip in with an idea when he has to. Probably wouldn't chip in with ideas to help, you know, all the time. I don't know. I'm speculating off what we see on player cams. I've never really had a conversation with Crims.
I think what you said, SPUNJ, like linking these two teams and what the Sunny automatic Flusha team needs is an IGL, and then what Fnatic probably doesn't need is Flusha IGLing over Golden.
Yeah.
I think that hits the nail on the head why this move actually happened. That is kind of what I heard, is that flusha is going to be calling in this team, and that he maybe wanted to call in Fnatic, so it was literally the decision, either golden or flusha, someone has to go, right? So they went with flusha. That's a theory.